Listen carefully until the end. In a world where the shadows of uncertainty lengthen once again, where new alliances between powers challenge the global balance, and freedom of expression is threatened in various parts of the world, the lessons of the past become more essential than ever. With regimes that suppress dissenting voices and control the flow of information, we are reminded of the fundamental importance of the liberties for which so many have fought. In this unsettling scenario, the words and actions of leaders of yesteryear resonate with renewed urgency. Let us turn our eyes to a man who, in one of humanity's most critical moments, united nations and led with unparalleled wisdom and courage. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces, not only commanded armies, he shaped the destiny of the free world. The world is on the brink of chaos. The flames of war consume entire continents, and freedom is threatened by the shadow of tyranny. The beaches of Normandy await, shrouded in mist and uncertainty. Eisenhower faces the monumental challenge of leading the largest amphibious invasion in history against a relentless enemy. In the silent hours before dawn, Eisenhower walks slowly through the headquarters, the weight of millions of lives resting on his shoulders. Maps cover the walls, each line drawn representing a critical decision. He knows that the fate of world freedom depends on the success of Operation Overlord. With a firm gaze, he reflects on the responsibility he carries.
Freedom has its price. It is the tireless work and dedication of courageous men.
As the fine rain falls outside, he writes a message to the troops, words that will echo through the decades.
All soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the Great Crusade, toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you.
He understands that true leadership is inspiring confidence and courage in those who follow. Gathering his generals, he emphasizes the importance of unity and cooperation.
The achievement of a common goal is more important than any individual glory.
The preparation for the invasion is exhaustive. Eisenhower knows that every detail can mean the difference between victory and defeat. He stresses the need for flexibility and adaptability.
In preparing for battle, I have always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable.
On the night before E-Day, he visits the troops, sharing personal moments and offering words of encouragement. The soldiers feel the gravity of the mission, but also the confidence their leader has in them. When dawn finally arrives, the horizon is filled with an endless fleet of ships. The roar of aircraft engines breaks the silence. Eisenhower observes the scene, aware of the enormous risk, but also of the imperative need to liberate Europe. He declares with determination,
"We will accept nothing less than full victory."
As the first waves of soldiers advance toward the heavily defended beaches, Eisenhower maintains his composure. He understands that hope is a powerful weapon against despair.
Pessimism never won any battle.
News from the battlefield arrives fragmented. Casualties are high, but the Allied forces advance. The sacrifice of these men is not in vain. Every inch of ground gained is a step closer to the defeat of the oppressive regime. Amid the devastation of war, Eisenhower reflects on the human cost of the conflict.
Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and are not clothed.
He dreams of a world where resources are directed toward the well-being of humanity, not its destruction. After the victory in Normandy, Eisenhower continues to lead with humility and prudence. He warns of the dangers of compromising the values for which they fight.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought.
As the Allied forces advance through Europe, liberating nations and putting an end to oppression, Eisenhower remains focused on the greater mission, restoring peace and freedom. With the end of the war in sight, he declares,
Real victory is ensuring that a lasting peace is achieved, and that future generations are spared the horrors we have witnessed.
His leadership is not only military, but also moral. He recognizes the importance of rebuilding not only cities, but also hearts and minds. Returning to the United States as a hero, Eisenhower is received with acclaim, but remains humble. He is called upon to lead again, this time as president. In his inaugural address, he emphasizes the need for a balance between defense and social progress.
In a world that arms itself to the teeth, we must find ways to resolve our differences without resorting to war.
During his presidency, he works tirelessly to promote peace, prosperity, and civil rights. He understands that the true greatness of a nation is measured not only by its military strength, but also by the protection of individual liberties, including freedom of expression, and by its justice and compassion. In his farewell address, he leaves a warning that resonates to this day.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
Dwight D. Eisenhower leaves a legacy of leadership based on principles, courage, and vision. His life exemplifies the power of determination and faith in humanity's ability to overcome the greatest challenges. He reminds us that the defense of freedom is an ongoing responsibility that each generation must assume. Now, it is our moment to honor this monumental legacy. As we face global challenges that echo the tensions of the past, we must draw inspiration from the strength and wisdom of leaders like Eisenhower. He showed us that true victory is not only won on the battlefield, but also in the unwavering defense of the fundamental values of freedom and justice. May we, inspired by his example, remember that we are not alone on our journey. By joining forces with those around us, we multiply our capacity to overcome obstacles and defend the rights we hold dear. Each of us carries within us the power to influence the world, but together that power is amplified beyond measure. By adopting the values that Eisenhower personified, courage, integrity, and collaboration, we can face any adversity and write our own destiny. Let us remember that true strength lies in unity, and that together we are invincible. As we face global challenges that echo the tensions of the past, we must draw inspiration from the strength and wisdom of leaders like Eisenhower. He showed us that true victory is not only won on the battlefield, but also in the unwavering defense of the fundamental values of freedom and justice. May we, inspired by his example, remember that we are not alone on our journey. By joining forces with those around us, we multiply our capacity to overcome obstacles and defend the rights we hold dear. Each of us carries within us the power to influence the world, but together, that power is amplified beyond measure. By adopting the values that Eisenhower personified, courage, integrity, and collaboration, we can face any adversity and write our own destiny. Let us remember that true strength lies in unity, and that together we are invincible.
Pessimism never won any battle. United in defense of freedom, our victory is certain.